Welcome to another video. In this one, I'd like to offer you a few tips on if you're a beginner photographer or maybe not so beginner photographer to help you move along with some of your buying decisions and also your photography in general. First thing you want to do is ask yourself, what do I want to do with my photography? Why do I want to own a camera? And the reason I say that is because then you can make a decision on what type of camera you want. In this day and age, pretty much no matter any camera that you go and buy that's new, I don't care what brand it is, it's going to be a good camera. However, different cameras are designed to do different things. Most of them are going to tell you, oh yeah, it's an all-around great camera body. Maybe, but it's going to be better at some things than others. For example, the camera that I'm filming this on right now, a Z7 II, it's really a better landscape camera than it is a sports and action camera. Can you do it? Yeah, you can, but it's better for landscapes and portraits. Also, there's different sensor sizes, and you may or may not be aware of that. Be aware of that before you buy a camera. There's micro four thirds, there's APS-C, there's full frame, there's medium format. Especially if you're a beginning photographer, and even if you're a relatively new hobbyist, don't go buy a medium format camera. Save your money. Learn how to be a photographer before you go and spend that kind of money. Now, it's your money, you can do with it whatever you want, but that would be my advice. My advice would be to understand what it is you want a camera for, and then buy a camera body that suits that without going out and crushing yourself and spending a lot of money. You might even want to consider getting a used camera. You can get a lot of good deals on used cameras right now from Roberts Camera, B&H, KEH, no matter where you want to buy it from. You can save yourself a lot of money. Next tip. What photography really is the study of light. I highly recommend that you go out and shoot at all different times of the day. Shoot with the sun behind you, shoot into the sun, shoot with the sun on one side or the other, shoot in the early morning, shoot in the afternoon, shoot midday, and get a good understanding of what light does in your images. And understand how you can control it in your camera, which is going to take a little time. I'm going to give you one quick example. Many years ago, when I was still shooting with a film camera, my family and I went on vacation to the west coast of Florida, and there was a beautiful sunset. And so I had my kids sit on a rock with the sunset behind them, right at the beach. Now, little did I know, because I was relatively new to photography, that the light meter inside my camera, which at the time was a Pentax K1000, is going to take an average of the scene. It's not going to expose for my kids' faces, not going to expose for the sunset. It's going to take an average. Now they have histograms, and you can control your exposure a little bit better with histograms, but that's a whole nother story. But the point is, at the time, it took an average of the scene. And because I was shooting film, I couldn't see it. So it wasn't until I had the film developed that I realized that because I was shooting into a bright sun, even though it was sunset, the camera took that into consideration, and my kids' faces were in shadows, very dark. So I didn't understand what it meant to shoot directly into light and how my camera would handle it. Now I do. So it was I can't say expensive lesson, but it was an image that I really can't get back. You know, it was a one-time thing. And that's going to be the problem with a lot of your images. They're going to be one-time shots. So you want to make sure that you understand the light and understand your light meter, and now as you get a little bit more advanced, the histogram in your camera so that you can get proper exposure. But understand the difference between shooting into the light and having the light behind you, and different times of day, different times of year, the light is different. Just start to take notice of that and appreciate it and understand it. Tip number 3, when you first get your camera, or maybe you've had it for a year, if you want to improve your photography really fast, learn to shoot in manual. Learn the correlation between your ISO, your aperture, and your shutter speed. It's critical to know that in advancing with your photography, because then you really can control the exposure a lot more. You can get areas dark that you want dark, or light that you want light. And I know you can do some of it with post-processing, but it's much better to get that exposure as close or dead on to what you want in the camera, on that card, or on your film, before you put it into a computer or go into a darkroom. It'll save yourself a lot of time and a lot of headaches. Learn to shoot manual. Next tip, don't confine yourself to one thing. Don't say, I'm just going to shoot portraits of my kids or my family, my grandkids. Don't do that. You can certainly photograph them all you like. Go outside and shoot abstracts. Find shapes. Bend the light. Look and see what the light's doing to a tree at a certain time of the day. Find a building downtown where the light is hitting it and you see a triangle, where there's a dark triangle or maybe a light triangle in a dark building, or vice versa, and look for those kinds of things. It'll make you a better photographer. Shoot your dog, shoot your pets. I don't mean literally shoot them. Photograph your dog, photograph your cat, whatever. I don't care if you have a cow outside or a horse. Go photograph that. Walk down the streets of a town or a city and photograph the buildings, the flowers maybe in a window, the people walking down the street. It'll make you a better photographer. You know, you want to be a good portrait photographer? It helps a great deal if you shoot sports. Shooting sports will make you a better portrait photographer. Learn to shoot a lot of different things when you're first picking up a camera. And then if you want to migrate to one particular genre more than another, that's fine. But you'll really improve if you learn how to shoot a lot of different things. Have fun. I mean, I would think that for some people, the number one reason why you bought a camera is because you want to have fun. Okay, have fun with it. Don't lay around on a Sunday afternoon and say, I'm just so tired, I don't want to have to take my camera out. Get your lazy butt off the couch. Go out early in the morning or after dinner or whatever, depending on the time of the year and the light, and just have fun with it. Go give yourself a topic. Give yourself a project to shoot. You know, I'm going to go find a tree, and I'm going to take the best photograph I can of that tree. I'm going to go find, I don't know, a bug. I'm going to go find a butterfly. I'm going to go find something. I'm going to go find a bird. I'm going to go find a mountain. I'm going to go find a building downtown, and I'm going to shoot it in an angle that interests me, and I'm going to have fun doing it. Okay, have fun. Bonus tip. I don't care where you are, what you're doing, where you're walking to. I don't care if you're in a city. I don't care if you're in Yellowstone and there isn't anybody within 10 miles of you. Turn around. Look up, look down, look to each side, and turn around. You're going to find a lot of good compositions if you do nothing but turn around, or look down, or look in the sky. You know, you'll be amazed at how many things and how many perspectives you see that are different when you walk who knows, 30 paces and you turn around, you'll be amazed at how different you see things. Turn around. And lastly, this sort of goes back to the first thing I spoke about, is learn about photography before you spend a lot of money. Learn about what you enjoy doing and what you don't enjoy doing. One of the things that's going to happen is you'll probably buy some lenses that you're going to keep for a very long time. So don't go buying a camera body and a whole bunch of lenses in the very beginning until you know, hey, I really want to shoot with a full frame camera. Or maybe you will say, hey, I really want that Fuji GFX 100S. That's really what I want because I know I'm going to be a landscape photographer, or maybe I'm going to be a studio photographer, and I need that camera and I need XYZ lens. Okay, fine. Don't do it from day one. Once you understand what it is you want to photograph and why you want to photograph, and you know how to photograph, then you can start investing money into lenses. Those lenses are probably going to be around longer than your camera body. I think that's one of the reasons why Nikon was so popular for many decades, was because they had the F-mount. They only had one mount on pretty much all their cameras and their lenses for a long time, 30, 40 years. You can still use them on the new Z cameras with an adapter. I think that's how Nikon had people so loyal to them, was because they didn't want to give up their lenses. They found a couple of lenses that they really liked and they didn't want to give them up. They may change camera bodies, but they wanted to keep the same lenses. And so maybe you start with an APS-C camera, maybe you start with a Micro Four Thirds camera, and you find out, geez, I really want a bigger sensor. I really want to shoot those grand vistas and I need that bigger sensor. The lenses that you bought in the beginning probably aren't going to work. Matter of fact, I'm sure they won't. So you're going to have to dump your lenses and your camera body, and you're going to lose out some money. That's why I say maybe even in the beginning you buy a used camera body and one or two lenses until you find out what it is you really want to do and you know how to photograph. And then lock into a system, whatever manufacturer it is. Me particularly, I shoot Nikon, but I'm sure there's plenty of Sony, Canon, Fuji, Panasonic, Olympus, whatever. You know, I'm not trying to sway you to one brand or another. I'm just saying you'll save yourself a lot of money in the long run if you pick one system and you stay with it. Whatever that system is, whether it's the Z system for Nikon or whatever it is, okay? I've had some lenses that are 40 years old that I used for a long time. So those are some of my tips for beginners. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. And I hope to see you around again. Take care of yourself.